Hello, I'm Jim Miller. Reggie and Terrence are off tonight. The FlipSIde starts right now. Welcome to the show. We're joined tonight by Melissa Needy. Hello, Melissa.
Hello.
With Pawssible Beginnings Rescue.
Yep.
And Melissa, you deal at this point strictly with senior dogs.
Yes, I'm a senior
And
sanctuary.
You actually, the viewers can probably see one of your pups, but you actually have two pups with you tonight. Tell us about them.
Well, the little brown one here, this is Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi is 20 years old. Basically, she came from an empty, abandoned apartment where she sat there for 2 weeks with her brother until she got rescued. I have had her for about 2.5 years. She's 20 years old. She fought for her life at Christmas time. She had an infection in her uterus that just about killed her. So at Christmas time, we had to have emergency surgery and she bounced back. She's absolutely amazing.
And she's 20 years old?
She's 20 years old.
And a dog, that type of dog, how long, what is their normal lifespan? Probably not 20 years?
It just depends. Yeah, it depends. I mean, we almost lost her because of the infection. She was unspayed.
Wow.
So being unspayed, she went through her cycle constantly. So we had to rush and get surgery on her. And she bounced back, and she's probably one of my most hyperest dogs I have.
Really?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
And how about your little...
This is Maisie May. Maisie May is 16. She actually started my rescue when she was 4 years old, and she's 16 now.
Wow.
Her and her sister basically were the first two for this whole entire rescue life that started it. Maisie May is a tripod, and during COVID, we had to do emergency surgery. She had cancer on her back of her legs, and in order to save her life, we had to take her leg off completely. And she's doing great.
She walks?
She's fabulous. She walks. She acts like nothing's ever happened. She plays ball. Today, she loves to be held, so she's just sucking it all up right now. But yeah.
I was going to say, she doesn't seem to mind the fact that she is here with strangers, and as long as she's...
Oh no, she's a drama queen, definitely. So, and her sister is 16, and she's a black poodle, and she's a little bigger, but she has congestive heart failure and Cushing's disease.
Wow.
So
dogs get some of the same illnesses that we as humans do, because Cushing's is a human disease, right?
Absolutely.
As well?
Yep, absolutely.
So you said that they started it all. Talk to us about have you always had a love for animals? Talk to us about that.
Yes, when I was a little girl, I always rescued kittens in my backyard. So kittens were something I always had, always took care of. Time went by, I didn't have any animals. And then when I moved back from Baltimore to Hagerstown is when I pretty much started the whole entire rescue life again. But I always specialized in cats and kittens. When I started my rescue in 2016, I rescued everything. But my more focus on are seniors. Seniors that have disabilities, seniors that are sick, seniors that are on the euthanasia list.
Okay. And of course, just like in humans, when you rescue seniors, I'm sure the cost factor goes up substantially.
Oh yes, very extremely expensive. I think they go to the doctor faster than I go. Because I have some with heart failure, I have some with Cushing's disease, as I mentioned. I have some with, thyroid disease. My biggest dog I have is 45 pounds, and his name is Tucker. He's a golden retriever lab mix, and he has half his hair missing. He was kept out in a kennel for years probably, and he has 4-degree sunburn, so all his hair will never grow back again. So half his body has hair, half of it does not.
Wow.
And he has thyroid. He's my biggest.
Wow.
But yes.
So talk to us about the origin of Pawssible Beginnings.
Well,
not only the name, but how you came to actually officially make this a rescue.
I had a massive chow that was beaten by a farmer that I rescued in 2012. His name was Max. And Max and I pretty much sat out in the yard, and I told him one day, if I own my own rescue, what should we call it? So I was just talking to him back and forth, and I decided I was going to call it Possible Beginnings because of his big paw, which is also on my back because he passed away right at COVID. And I decided to call Possible Beginnings Rescue and make it a senior sanctuary once I ventured on and got my niche on what it was going to be.
So when you say initially you rescued everything,
Yes.
is that everything dogs and cats, or was it beyond cats?
Mice, rats, guinea pigs, hamsters. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you were your own little humane society.
I was my own little humane society. And since then, I still do get a lot of requests from the shelters asking if I know anybody that would take hamsters, and I always connect them with other rescues that do now.
Okay, excellent. Talk to me about, and obviously the mission is about saving older dogs. What does success look like for you?
What does success look like for me?
Or maybe it's on your lap and resting against your shoulder.
So, I lost 4 dogs since October. I've lost one once a month. So for me, success looks like for me is where I had all of these extra animals and showed them love before they passed. That is my success. Even though I'm still paying the vet bills from, Louis, who died of congestive heart failure in November, the success is that I had him for an extra year and loved him till the very day. That is my success.
Yeah.
Even though he's not with us any longer. And then my corgi, who just died last month, unexpectedly, but I found her underneath of a U-Haul truck eating a dead carcass.
Ugh.
And she lived a year with me. So when she passed, the success was me being right there with her.
Yeah. So again, from an expense standpoint, maintaining older animals is not cheap.
No.
Maintaining younger animals is not cheap anymore. So you've established yourself or your organization as a not-for-profit entity.
Great.
Talk to us about that. I'm assuming that was so you could get some funding?
That was that was a hard situation because right at COVID is when, before COVID even became big, I applied for it. And it took me 6 to 8 months to get approved because I guess it just sat on someone's desk. And I'll never forget, I was working at one of the pet stores because I was working at a pet store to try to keep my rescue going financially. And I got the letter in the mail, finally, after 6, it also could have been 8 months, that I finally got approved for my 501c3. So I get my 501c3 and I'm like, okay, great, the world is shut down right now. What am I gonna do with this? But eventually everything went into play. I did fundraisers. I could do more things with the pet stores, knowing I had my 501c3 along with my veterinarian clinic that I take my dogs to.
So not to get nosy, but your fundraising, does that cover all of the expenses, or is it still Melissa paying out of pocket?
Still Melissa paying out of pocket.
And what percentage of your expenses do your fundraisers cover? Do you know?
Well, it just depends. Depends on what fundraisers I have. Depending on what I'm doing. I just did about 2 weeks ago on a Friday night. I cooked hamburgers and hot dogs in the 95-degree weather at a music festival, and did okay. Not so well because it was too hot. But the amazing gentleman that is doing the fundraiser, if I can match up to $800, his company is giving me $800 on top of that.
Okay.
So he's giving me 30 days to fundraise up to $800, and then his company is going to pay me $800 on top of that.
Okay.
So that'll be $1,600. But my vet bill is $3,000. So
For right now?
Right now.
For the combination of animals, or
for the combination of all the animals I have.
But of course you probably pay on that.
Yes,
every
I
month.
have to pay on that weekly.
Weekly?
Yes.
Okay.
Because somebody gets sick. Somebody's stomach gets upset. Yeah. So in order to take them in, I have to make a deposit on my vet bill.
Okay. Wow. So I know that only because I saw you, you have for a long period of time had 1, 2, 3 jobs.
Yes.
And is that to support this?
That was to support this, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And you still today, this is not your full-time gig.
This is not my full-time gig.
So.
I'm still trying to find something more to branch out, something bigger, something more money to come in, more chunks of money to put down on my vet bill. I may go back to waiting tables again, but I'm trying to do something for these animals, because these animals get seen, all of my dogs and kitties get seen way before me at any doctors.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. That's amazing. What does a typical day look like for you, managing both your day job, if you want to call it that, and the rescue?
Well, I have a full kitty cat palace. So I have 10 senior kitties in my palace. It's a sunroom. I have 9 litter boxes. So when I get up in the morning, I have to clean the kitty cat palace, the litter boxes, fresh food, fresh water. Then I go into my garage, and I have another senior kitty there by the name of Garfield, who can't be with other kitties. I take care of him, I feed him. Then I go outside to my mama kitty and 2 kittens that are living out in my shed that I'm going to have to trap. I feed them.
So they're not domesticated at this point?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Seems like that's happened a lot to me. And then I come in and mop my floors, and I take care of all 9 of my dogs, give them their medication, give them fresh blankets, get them their food. They're all on, every single one of these guys are on some type of special food. So financially, I have to pay for that as well. So medicine's the key. The first thing I have to do is give everybody medicine. And then I have a little break, and then I have to come back sometime in the afternoon with them, of course, and give them their second meal.
Right.
Some didn't eat in the morning. So nobody has a set schedule, because they're all different.
Now, do you feed them? I'm imagining you can't feed them all separately. Do you feed them as a group?
Feed them as a group.
And does one of the dogs like to eat the other's food?
Of course, the Golden Retriever Lab, he likes to clean up everyone's plates.
Okay.
And it would be a lot easier if they all could eat kibble, but a lot of them don't have teeth. So I have to buy wet food.
Okay.
So they're on wet food Purina 1.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow. So you say you talked about fundraiser. You talked about the hamburger fundraiser. Was that at an event here?
That was an event out by Smithsburg.
Okay. And what other fundraisers do you have? Do you have any coming
Yep.
up that our audience would be interested in?
We have a huge one at the Charlestown Casino the Saturday before Thanksgiving. It's called Bark to the Future. It's an 80s event, and it's going to be dinner, dancing, hors d'oeuvres, and you can get tickets online. Our ticket sales will go on sale actually this week, but it's going to be at Charlestown Casino, and proceeds go back to a cat rescue and my rescue.
Okay.
And it's an 80s event.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Okay.
Bark to the Future.
Bark to the Future. I like
Yes.
that. That's catchy. What other types of fundraisers do you do on a routine basis?
On a routine basis, Hardy Pet does a lot of fundraisers for me as well. We did the Easter Bunny. We'll do Santa Claus this year as well. Santa Claus pictures with the pets. And then we do a lot of events set up there as well, where we get donations and do raffle baskets and such.
Okay. Interesting. Well, we have a lot more questions, but we need to take a break. I'd
Okay.
love for you to stay with us, and the pups too. Stay with us. We'll be back after this message. So we talked about this a little bit, but the funding, so not only vet bills, which obviously are very expensive, what is the cost? Do you have a cost to support one of these animals on average over a 12-month period or a 1-month period, or something we can calculate?
So Robin, my black poodle that has Cushing's and congestive heart failure, her medication per bottle once a month is about $120 a month.
Just for medication?
Just for one bottle.
And we haven't fed her.
Haven't fed her yet. And that is just
And we haven't taken her to the vet to get, I'm sure, the checkups for that.
correct. So that's about $120 a month for her Cushing's medication. Then she's on 2 congestive heart medications. She's averages about $200 a month.
Okay.
And that's not even feeding her. She's my most expensive kid right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And the others, I mean.
Maisie May, she's got seizures, so she's on seizure medication 3 times a day. This girl cost me $1,800
In December.
in December, $1,800. So that got onto my bill. And then you have Tucker that's on his thyroid medication, which I just previously pulled him into my rescue for life because he was going to be available for adoption.
So you do adopt animals out at some
Do
point?
adopt them out. I do adopt them out. He would basically, I really got tired of people telling me that he wasn't cute enough to be adopted because he was missing all of his hair. So I wanted him just to stay with my family and finally have a placement. So he's on thyroid medication. That's probably like $42 a month for his pills. And that's not feeding him yet.
Okay. And food costs, I mean, what's your average food bill in a month?
Well, I'm blessed. I have an Amazon wish list. And I usually use Chewy. And for the last 2 months, I've had so many cases sent to me.
Really?
Yes.
And how do you advertise that's available?
On my Facebook page or on my rescue Facebook page or my page. I just ask, I have a large, amazing following, and I just tell them that I'm in desperate need and I need some food sent to my house from Amazon, and I send them my wish list. So for the last 2 months, the food's been sent to me, and then Hardy Pet donates all of. I am so blessed. They have donated all the cat food for me.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
I mean, that's incredibly expensive. I know what it costs just for my 2 little kitties, and they're not even full grown yet.
Yes. If I need something, I call them, and I have to be careful with the dogs. I can't switch up their food. I cannot switch up their food because of their digestive tract. They have to stay on one brand. But with the cats, whatever I need, they donate to me. So I'm very blessed. For the last 3 months, I've been extremely blessed with food.
Wow. Well, hopefully that'll continue.
Yes, definitely.
Talk about other partnerships you've developed, because the Hardy Pet thing is certainly a partnership. And even though it's individuals, I'm understanding, that are donating to you on Amazon, the fact of the matter is they're your partners as well.
Yes.
What other partnerships have you established? I heard you mention the Humane Society.
I've definitely established a great working relationship with the Washington County Humane Society. I work extremely close with Berkeley County Humane Society. And then I also have partnered with Rescue Me WV. And Rescue WV, they pull all types of dogs. And of course, when she has a senior dog, she comes to me, and that's where I got Tucker. I was actually having a loss of one of my dogs, and I had to go up to Berkeley County Humane Society to pick up something, and in came Tucker and his sister, and they were in horrific condition. I called her and I asked her if she would please pull them and that I would foster them, and I cried all the way through. She said yes, and that's how I developed Tucker and Cindy. Cindy Lou did get adopted because they weren't a bonded pair like we thought. He's more attached to me.
Okay.
But yeah, so Rescue Me WV, we have a great relationship.
And Rescue Me WV, do they only do dogs, or?
I think I'll do only dogs.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting. Do you have access to, or well, let me ask you this: are there any businesses other than Hardy Pet that you'd like to mention as that are routine supporters, or that have supported you in the past?
Yes, Pope Tires donates financially to me all the time. I could call them up and ask for a donation, and she gives me a donation.
Wow.
Bella Salon and Spa, Christy Turner.
Love those two.
Love those two. And Tammy.
Yeah.
Actually, she just dropped me off a gift basket and a donation check.
Wow.
Yes, amazing, those two. And along with Bone Break Tires, same with those two. They donate to me as well.
Okay, that's excellent. Are there any grants or any of those types of things that are available for support for?
There are grants, but I haven't really found, I don't understand that part of it, so I've not had time to actually sit down and find a grant writer to help me. So if there's one, I need help.
Okay, excellent. Are they significant? Is there a lot of money out there?
Absolutely, because I don't know if you know Russell Neff.
Yeah.
Friends of KC.
Yeah.
He's another great one. I forgot to add him. He's absolutely amazing. He supports me as well and donates. But he gets a lot of donations of crates and stuff, and he'll call me up. But Friends of KC have gotten some grants as well to help them out. Yes, amazing group.
All right, excellent. So your Facebook page, you mentioned that you had had some significant benefits on there. What types of things are you posting out on Facebook? Tell me about your activity on social media.
So somehow,
do you TikTok?
I do. I don't do. I don't do TikTok for the rescue. My main things, is the Pawssible Beginnings Facebook page and the Melissa Needy page. But if something's going on, I'll post it out there. Somebody entered me into a fitness competition for a cover of a magazine and to win $20,000. That started in May, and I went from group to group to group to group to group, and it was by voting. You may purchase votes, and if you purchase votes, it went towards children with cancer.
Okay.
So if you bought votes, it went to a 501c3.
Okay.
So I was in the final round until last week, and this is the last round, so the winner will be announced, I believe, this week.
Okay.
But unfortunately, we didn't make it, but that's okay. But I had a lot of people voting, because I could see behind on my dashboard who was voting, and I could just see people were buying votes. It was just amazing. So I was trying to win $20,000 for my rescue.
Okay. Excellent. Other than Facebook, do you use any other social media platforms?
No.
No?
Nope.
So you've talked about the success story with your 20-year-old. Tell me about some other success stories that you've had.
So success stories, my goodness, where do I begin? I had a little girl by the name of Teeny Tiny. She was disabled, and she was dropped at the shelter, and she was going to be euthanized. And Brandy called me and showed me a picture, went live with her, and I said, I'm on my way. And she lived for a good year, and she would crawl around on her elbows, but at the very end we realized she made it, but she had cancer the entire time as well, in her spine.
Okay.
So we spent a lot of money on getting her tested constantly, and unfortunately we had to let her go about a year and a half ago. Just looking at my arms here. Oliver Jackson was a Shih Tzu, and God love his heart, he was with me since my mama was alive, and he had a sister named Star. And they were a bonded pair at the shelter. I pulled both of them together, and they were very bonded. Star died 6 hours after my mom died.
Wow.
She was very attached to my mom, and I asked my mom, I said, she is so attached to you, what are you going to do when you pass away? She's not going to make it without you. And then she ended up dying 6 hours after my mom.
So you're looking at, don't want to interrupt your story,
That's okay.
but you're looking at your arm. Talk to us about the artwork.
So, let me wake up, silly. So basically, for me, everybody is different with closure. For me, have to keep it together here. For me, it's about having the palm of my body. That's my closure. So this little guy is Yo-Yo. I made him into a yo-yo. He came to me at COVID when I was extremely sick, and he laid by my side, and I kept him. He died. I had him for about 2 years. He died in December unexpectedly. He had high blood pressure of the liver.
Okay.
And I couldn't save him.
Okay.
So he was turning blue, and I had to put him to sleep. Louis, the next Paul, his mama died of COVID. I brought him in. He died of congestive heart failure in October. Sorry, Meme. Oliver and Star, the bonded pair. I had to let Ollie go because he could no longer walk. And he left in January. And then Teeny Tiny was my handicap one. Shih Tzu was from a lady that had a drug overdose. I had her for only 5 months. She died of congestive heart failure. And last but not least is the Queen. We fought for 2.5 years with cancer, and I had to eventually let her go. Since then, I lost one more last month, but Corgi Sue, unexpected. She was a Corgi, and she could no longer walk. They think she might have had cancer in her spinal cord.
Okay. How many animals do you have?
I have 9 dogs and 10 cats.
9 dogs and 10 cats.
9 senior dogs and 10 senior cats.
Wow. That is a
And I have
commitment.
a kitty cat palace, a cattery, and then these guys have the entire house. My mama passed away. She left me her entire house for my rescue. She wanted to make sure I was taken care of.
That's great. Your daytime job
Yes.
is
I'm a pole fitness instructor.
What does that mean?
I teach women of all shapes, sizes to lose weight, tone their bodies, and bring out their sexiness that they might have left from whatever part of their life, whatever age. So I teach them how to be sexy, how to work out on a pole.
Okay. And by pole, you mean like you would normally see and
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
I've been teaching that for 15 years, and I've been in Hagerstown with my studio for 10.
Okay. And it is, it's doing well?
It's doing extremely well. Not that I wasn't for sure what I was doing this year. I didn't know if I was going to stay open. But my students talked me into staying open for another 2 years. So Extreme Pole Fitness Studio will be open another 2 years.
Okay.
And I may reopen another studio someplace else.
Okay. Wow.
Yes.
And how many students do you have in that?
Oh my goodness, I probably have 40 to 50.
Wow.
And I teach about 13 classes a week.
Okay, so is that like a karate thing where they pay monthly and they
pay per session.
They pay per session?
Yes, and I have a Facebook page for that. Yeah, they pay per 1 hour class.
Okay. And I'm assuming that a lot of that money ends up
Yes.
going to the dogs, so to speak.
Yes, going to the dogs, exactly.
All right.
Totally going to the dogs, yes.
So the fitness competition that you had talked about, talk to me about, clearly you are energized about this. Did that help to re-energize you about some of the other fundraising opportunities, or how has that impacted you?
What I did was, whenever I made it to almost the final round, I decided I was going to go big or go home. So what I did was I loaded up all my dogs in the car and we went up to the studio and we did pictures of me laying back, holding the dogs on the pole, doing cute little images for everybody. And I knew that it would pull in more media, more people voting. And I have to say that it totally did. So it basically brought a lot more attention. I have a lot more people saying, I want to send you a check, I want to help you out, people that I don't even know from that competition. So even though I didn't win $20,000, I still won from my supporters and the people that support me by wanting to help me more.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, we need to take another break at this point. You think the dogs can make it through another session or two?
Yes.
Excellent. Stay with us. We'll be back after this. Welcome back. Once again, we're here with Melissa Needy with Pawssible Beginnings Rescue and Senior Sanctuary. Did I say that right?
Yes.
All right. Let's talk about the rescue piece. How did the dogs come to you? What are your sources?
So I try not to do owner surrenders. I do more of the dogs whenever the shelters will send me a notice. I'm in a lot of group chats. So they'll say something like, we just got a Shih Tzu in that's 12 years old that needs emergency medical assistance. It could be eye infection, it could be a knot on her, a tumor on her, any of that nature. And then what happens is everybody starts chatting, we ask questions, next thing I know, I'll inbox her, or she'll privately inbox me. Brandy from Berkeley County will inbox me and say, hey Melissa, I have another perfect dog for you. And it's a senior. And she knows that I can't say no. Or, like Maisie May, her sister was found on the street on Robinwood Drive. And when I found her, after a couple weeks, they found out that I had her, and they wanted me to pay them money to keep her. So I financially paid them, and then they said you could have this one too. So that's how I got both of them. Yes. So then let's see, who else we have? Oh, I have 2 puppy mill dogs. One is a Bichon, Faith Noel, and she's from an Amish puppy mill in Pennsylvania. She had a baby and it died, so they no longer wanted her and they were going to euthanize her. Someone told me about it and I met them at a parking lot of a restaurant and took her home. My other one is from a hoarding situation in West Virginia with 80-some dogs, and they were dropping them off in the middle of the night. I'm saying 2,000 fleas infested. It was the most horrific thing. Urine, everything all over them. and the owner actually passed, and that's why the other owner of the house was trying to get rid of all these dogs. And I saw it on Facebook, and I told her, Brandy from Berkeley County, I want one of those dogs, and I want the most feistiest one. And she said, well, I had one here that just bit Erica. I said, I'll take her, because I knew she'd be euthanized. Never bit me, but she's a special needs girl. When I take her to the vet, I have to take her in backwards, hand her off to one of the vet techs who she only likes. She's a very special needs girl.
Okay. And do you normally muzzle her?
No, nope. They don't muzzle her. They the one vet tech, they're special with her. Anybody else, yes. Anybody else, yes. And she weighs probably about 5 pounds, but it's so sad. And then I told you already about Tucker. I got so many dogs, I got to think here. Oh, and then there is Sunshine. Sunshine is 16. She's so special. I got her from a homeless lady. She has since then, the last 6 months was great. Since then, she's been blind. So she runs into a lot of stuff. She has digestive issues. So we want to talk about a vet bill. She's probably at the vet every 3 weeks because her stomach she has an ulcer, and when it acts up, she has to be seen by a vet. So she's blind, and she's a Chihuahua, and she is probably about 4 or 5 pounds, and she's probably in bed right now. She used to go with these two places with me. So we talked about Faith, we talked about Robin, we talked about Tucker. Oh, Bobo. So Bobo is a little black one like her, and he's missing his paw. So when he was born, his mama must have pulled him out with her mouth and tore off his paw. So he has no paw. So you hear this little run back the hallway. He was with her, left in an apartment for 2 weeks.
Wow. So do you get dogs or cats from other sources other than the Humane Society?
Usually the shelters. That's what I try to stick with, because what will happen from the shelters is they will give them their first round of shots.
Which is money you don't have to spend.
Money that we have to spend.
Right.
So if I'm going to put her in your house, you want to make sure she has her first round of shots because you have other animals. That's the key. So most of them, now I can tell you that Washington County Humane Society does everything they possibly can to help you out. Berkeley County, same with Berkeley, to a degree. So, but they both financially help by giving them their shots, all that stuff, so they can go into your home.
Well, the people I've met at Washington County, I've not met anyone at Berkeley County, but they all seem invested in the mission.
Yes.
So that's helpful.
Yes, very much so. Very much.
And it's amazing the number of people that you meet in the community. It's amazing just the number of posts on Facebook about, talking about rescues versus puppy mills. Talk to me about the puppy mill thing.
So
we could probably spend an hour on that.
We could spend an hour on puppy mills. So I know a lot of people buy their dogs from puppy mills, and breeding dogs is just horrible, because what's happening is when you get a dog this age, yeah, she's adoptable because she's so cute. But let's say she wasn't. Let's say she was blind and that kind of thing. Nobody wants to adopt her. Tucker, nobody wants to adopt him. So puppy mill dogs you're paying big dollars for puppy mills where they're constantly breeding these dogs over and over and over and over, like Faith Noel. Faith Noel is a puppy mill girl. She was good until she had 5, and she had 1 baby and it died. They were done with her. So that is your puppy mills. That is the ones that they make money off of breeding over and over and over again. And
you mentioned it was Amish.
Yes, it was.
Does that strike you as odd?
No, because that's all of that community. That's all they do, is breed for money, for finances.
Okay.
Yes. So
that seems contrary to their beliefs otherwise.
Honey, be careful. Yes. That's what they do. A lot of the Amish puppy mills, that's what they do. They breed financially. I have to tell you about this little guy. His name is Hamilton. Hamilton has no teeth. He's 14 years old. I found him on Hamilton Boulevard in Hagerstown.
So you called him Hamilton?
Hamilton. Well, I'm sure I can tell you, Lou Scally had him first. And then he came into my rescue. So I called him Hamilton. So what happened with him, what I'm thinking, is that they took his teeth out because he was the breeder, he was the main stud, and they were done with him and they threw him out the window. So,
And Lou found him. Wow.
Yes. And I always wonder if he ever knows that I have him now. But his name is Hamilton. He was very, very skittish at first, very skittish, and now he's my best boy. He's a little fox terrier where he's about 4 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the process of bringing a dog or a cat into your home and acclimating them. And do you ever have situations, obviously you have 3 cats, or you have 2 cats that are kind of kept separate, but talk to us about that acclimation process.
So first and foremost, I'm very nervous because I have a large pack. So bringing them into my house is very important, of them getting to know each other behind gates, being on leashes. Because if I bring an unneutered male into my home, unneutered male dog, he always wants to somehow leash out and fight my other boys. Louis did. Louis always wanted to fight Hamilton. It was even after I got him neutered, because most of the dogs that come to me, and cats, are unneutered or unspayed. So you can't pick them up that day and take them to surgery that fast, because A, it costs a lot of money, and B, you have to schedule appointments. So you have to go through the process of the appointments, and you have to wait until there's an availability. So I have to get them used to each other with that, because they're unneutered or unspayed. So usually what I do in my house, I have 3 rooms and they're gated off, and I let them get to know each other through the gate. I can always tell by their body language if there's going to be a problem, and I am so blessed there's never been a problem except Louis and Hamilton. Louis wanted to fight Hamilton all the time, but that's because he was very territorial. But my guys are pretty good. They get along great. Sometimes they have food aggression. You have to be extremely careful bringing a new animal into your home, because you have to worry about that food aggression, because they sat at the kennel and they ate whatever, and then they're coming into a home and they're getting, wet food, Purina One, and they have food aggression. Sometimes they want to fight. One of my dogs, Faith Noel, she has a little bit of food aggression now that she's getting older. I think she's getting a little dementia, and she has some food aggression. Most of the time, they stay on a leash. When I take them outside, I have a little fenced-in backyard, and I was hoping to win that $20,000 to put in a fenced-in backyard, a big one. But I have to keep them on a leash to walk them around, just to get them to know the area.
Okay.
But the key is they have to be vaccinated of some sort, because kennel cough is a big problem. Bringing a dog from the shelter with kennel cough, all of my seniors get sick, and they cough and cough. So I have to be very careful.
So do the dogs that you have, that you keep, are they regularly vaccinated for kennel cough? Or?
Fully vaccinated for kennel cough.
Okay.
Everything.
Okay.
Just in case.
Just
I had
in
a
case.
very bad experience. I brought in a dog that had kennel cough, and I didn't want to put so much stuff on them because they are seniors.
Right.
And they all got kennel cough.
Wow.
And you can imagine, they cough, foam comes out of their mouth, and it's horrible. The problems that I'm having now is the trachea, collapsed trachea. 'Cause most small dogs have collapsed trachea. And what happens is they cough, and then they spit up. I would say probably 4 of my dogs have a collapsed trachea. She does. Yeah.
She doesn't seem any worse for the wear.
I didn't look at her. She loves to be held.
Yeah.
She loves it.
So do you allow the cats to intermingle with the dogs ever?
No, the cats, yeah. I had 2 kitties in the house when my mommy was there, and I didn't have the corgi, and it was fine. But what's happened now, even though Corgi Sue is gone, because she likes to go after the cats, I keep the cats in the palace and the dogs in the house, just because I don't want anything to happen or any scratches or any of that kind of stuff. But I have mostly seniors in my kitty palace. I have Louis, who I rescued a couple days after Louis passed, so I called him Louis the Ginger. He was laying alongside the road in Berkeley County. They don't know what was wrong with him, and I stepped in and rescued him, and I just think he was just, the wind was knocked out of him. Something was wrong, but he's an old man. He's a ginger. And then I have one that's by the name of Oreo, and she's about 1.5, and she is just my problem child. She's on a 3-tier kennel because I can't put her out with everybody, and I can't hold her because she wants to attack me sometimes. So she gets overstimulated, so she's in a big 3-tier home. Is like I call it a hotel.
And this is a cat?
It's a cat, yes. And then I have 2 semi-ferals that I found outside 2 years ago. Got them vaccinated, spayed, neutered, Lucifer and Maze. And then I have Mommy's kitty, which is Ellie. She's about 12. She's perfect. And then I have a kitty that was found by Super Shoe in Berkeley County. And she had a broken pelvis. They must have threw her out the window, and she had hard, so she had a broken pelvis. So she's been with me ever since.
Wow. What percentage of your animals end up getting adopted?
Well, let's see. So we wouldn't say adopt it, we'll say go into hospice. Because what happens is, most of the time, like I have a kitty right now by the name of Bigfoot. He's orange, he's a ginger, and his paws were burnt. Not sure what happened. We did medication on the whole 9 yards. He's about 2 years old.
Oh.
He's adoptable. So what's going to happen is someone is interested in him. If he goes into the home and everything works well, he'll be able to adopt him. But most of the time, I look for seniors. And what I'll do is I'll be like, hey, Jim, I have a senior little Chihuahua that's 4 years old, that's 19 years old. She probably only has 6 months to live. Would you foster her, hospice her until the day she dies? And I'll financially take care of it until her last day.
Wow. So even when they're adoptable, oftentimes you maintain the financial responsibility.
Yes, I've got about 6 dogs in hospice homes right now.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. What advice would you give to someone who is looking to get involved in animal rescue?
Do your homework. Be prepared for heartbreak. Be prepared for lots of heartbreaks, lots of tears, lots of blood. Make sure that you have a strong team of people to help you. And I have amazing girls, absolutely. But have a team of people that can help you, get you going, help with fundraising ideas, launch you, be there for you. Because my team is absolutely amazing, and they're always out there. I come up with the ideas, and they come running. So make sure that you have a strong team of people to help you, and have lots of fosters or hospice families.
Talk about your team. We haven't talked about that, because at some point you're a force of one, but it sounds like you have some help.
Sabrina is my treasurer. She's my figures, my money, if I need something, ideas, I run it by her to see if she's able to help, that type of thing. She's always there. I have a fundraising idea, bam, she comes. She's there to help me. And then I have another lady that basically, she's a volunteer. She'll help me out as well. She'll set up. Again, Hardy Pet, those ladies in there, they think of all kind of fundraising ideas. They call me, and they're like my team as well. They're always full of ideas trying to get me out there as well.
Excellent.
Yeah, but I am a one-man show because I'm constantly thinking of what to do next.
Yeah.
And I wait till I run it by my head before I ask anybody.
Yeah. And I'm assuming you don't have any employees per se.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nope, no employees.
Okay.
I'm a nonprofit. We make no money.
Understood.
0.
Yeah, understood. Okay. We need to take one more break, and then we'll come back and wrap up. So we're about done, pups. You can go back home then.
Oh no, they're gonna go to the studio.
Excellent, excellent. Stay with us. We'll be back after this. Welcome back, Melissa. Thanks for hanging out. The dogs have been just joyous. That's great. Tell me some of the techniques you use to get everybody to get along in your pack.
Well, we do snack breaks in the afternoon. This is going to be funny. I've never told you about this story. But I open up the fridge. We have cheese. They all circle around the refrigerator. And I have to say them by their name and use numbers so they know it's their turn.
So they respond to that.
Yes.
That's significant training.
Yes.
How do you work the new ones into that routine?
It's a treat. I make them sit. Tucker's so smart. He's the lab golden retriever mix. He is so smart. He sits, he waits. And they all sit right in front of the fridge. It took me a while to train him a little bit. Took me a while,
yeah.
but he caught on so fast. And as soon as I open that fridge and I'll say, treat time, they all come and they all sit in front of my fridge. And they all get a piece of cheese, a couple pieces of cheese. I'll go through. I'll say, Tucker 1, Chi-Chi 2. And they all just sit there. Most of the time, she's still in bed. Don't let her fool you. She's still sleeping, so she doesn't get a treat sometimes.
Wow. So when you take them outside, do you take them out individually?
Nope. We all go outside. I have a small fenced-in yard along with my patio, so they come out. When we get outside, that's where Tucker's able. I trained him to chase his tail. I'll say, chase, and he runs. And then I'll have him sit, give me his paw, lay down, and play dead. So I've trained him. He is such a smart dog. So they all go out together. I stay out there with them, and they just do their business. And Maisie May and Hamilton, and when I had her, Cindy Lou, but she got adopted, they would sit out there and just bark, just talk to each other and bark all afternoon.
Wow.
Yes, she's a talker. I don't know if she doesn't look like it right now. She's sleeping.
So, they say the old adage is you can't teach an old dog new tricks. That is not true.
That is not true. Totally not true.
So you can get an older dog that is untrained, and
Absolutely.
And you'll be able to
get
them to do.
Dogs are smarter than people.
Tell me about the acclimation process. When you bring a dog in, how long does it take? Because I hear different numbers from different sources. How long does it take for them to become part of the routine and figure out this is okay?
It's a little stressful because when you're bringing in, especially, let's talk about Tucker. He's 45 pounds. Everybody else is this tiny. And his big feet gets in the way. So bringing him into the house, I had to literally put him in a round playpen kennel because he would constantly walk on the dogs. And it was new. I didn't know how anybody was going to act. He wouldn't eat. It's very hard. It was very stressful. It stresses me out for several days. But after a while, once they know, you have to be very calm. You have to be very patient. You have to give them, I like to hug my dogs a lot, so they see that I'm constantly hugging my dogs. And so then I brought him out, and probably was about two to 3 weeks. But it takes 6 months for them to finally know that they are comfortable. So a lot of people adopt dogs, and they give them several days. They give them weeks,
right.
And they dump it back at the shelter. It takes a good 6 months for that dog. I am now getting to know Tucker's been with me since Christmas. I know everything about him now, and it's been 6 months.
Yeah.
And he's got it down now, so when I say, let's go night-night, everybody, they all run back the hallway, and he runs back to go to bed as well.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So is he the leader of your pack? Who is the leader of your pack? Do you have one that is the alpha dog?
Maisie May.
This one?
She is an alpha.
Really?
Yes, she's I don't know, she's so tired. Oh yeah, because she was outside barking most of the afternoon. Yeah, she's an alpha. She's my alpha. She's my everything, my child, where if somebody sits, because I think a lot of times because of her leg, if she's laying in a dog bed and one of the dogs get in with her, she attacks them. She has no teeth. She attacks them. So she is my alpha. She is my problem. Chi-Chi she's so docile. She just lays there. Maisie Mays actually went after Tucker a few times because Tucker walked on her. So she decided she was going to dive up and try to bite him.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it don't look like it. She's sleeping right here.
Okay, that's interesting.
It is. She's my drama queen.
So if our viewers want to find you, what is the best way to find you?
They can find me on Facebook. It's called Pawssible Beginnings Rescue.
Spell that for us.
Pawssible Beginnings Rescue.
Excellent. Do you have a web page or anything
Don't
like
have
that?
a web page. I had one, took it down.
Okay. Okay, great. What are the needs now?
Donations to Cumberland Valley Vet. A lot of people like to donate directly to the vet's office. They're welcome to do that as well. Or they can reach out to me if they want to send a check from their company, and I'll be happy to send them a 501c3 form as well. So basically, finances right now for their vet bills.
Yeah. Okay. What are your future goals? What does success look like for Pawssible Beginnings in terms of your next steps?
Well, my next steps would be, I'm hoping that all 9 of these dogs live throughout this year so I don't have to have another heartache. But what I would like to do eventually is to have a couple more seniors. I used to have 14, now I'm down to 9. So right now I'm on a pool hold. Basically what that means is I financially can't do any more right now. I like to get my vet bill paid off so that I can financially start pulling and looking at other dogs and getting them into homes, other hospice homes.
Okay. What about, so your intent is to continue to expand as the finances allow?
Yes. I don't want to have any more in my home right now because I have 9 more heartaches plus 10 more cat heartaches to go through because I lost one of my senior cats 2 months ago from cancer. But I would like to find people as well who'd be willing and interested in opening up their home for a hospice dog, or volunteers that would be willing to donate to the rescue financially to help get the vet bills paid off.
Sure. And do you have any volunteers that help you at your home with the animals at all? So you are literally a force of one.
I'm a force of one. I do have a girlfriend that if I go out of town, as you saw, I was away for a short period of time. My girlfriend stayed at my house the entire time and took care of my dogs and my cats the entire time. So that was my first vacation probably in about 10 years.
Wow. And
that's why I'm so dark.
Yeah, and 19 animals, that's no small undertaking.
No. Plus the mama cat and 2 kittens out back. Yeah.
Yes, we can't forget about them.
Can't forget about them.
And they're feral cats?
Found out she had a pink collar on today. I got close to the mama, she had a pink collar on.
But she won't let you touch her at this point?
No, not yet. I'll have to trap her.
Okay.
And then I have a possum and a raccoon that I feed out back too.
Okay, of course you do.
Of course I do.
Of course you do. All right. Anything else you'd like us to know?
I would like for you to know that just remember, you have a senior, don't dump your senior at the shelter to get a puppy. Because 9 chances out of 10, that senior is not going to make it out of the shelter alive.
Yeah, I saw those memes at Christmas time.
Yes, they're not going to make it out alive.
Yeah. Okay.
And people like me will leap and financially go under just to save its life.
Well, God bless you. All right. That's all the time we have tonight. We hope you will like us on Facebook, follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, and send us your comments and suggestions to feedback@flipsidetv.com. That's feedback@flipsidetv.com. Most importantly, join us again next week for another episode of The Flip Side. Good night.